Hey friends, Shayla here, and we're here to do a slightly different kind of a video today. I was already planning on making this video, and then recently some things happened, and it spurred me into making this video sooner than I originally planned. So originally this video was going to come later in the week, but due to recent events, I feel like it needs to come now. So here we are. Anyways, what's happened recently is there was an article published in Publishers Weekly about the state of shoujo and josei readers in regards to digital manga. Kodansha specifically is being called out as they have their digital first program. So a lot of people interpreted what was said as Kodansha lied to us. They're never really going to give us these in print, even though we're some of the top selling digital titles. And there's lots of things being misconstrued, lots of things being talked about. And I'm not here to dissect all of that today. We'll do a tea time with Shayla sometime and talk about more of that. Today's discussion is more about the weighted demographics in manga. So, as this article very blatantly pointed out, the demographics between shonen and seinen versus shoujo and josei are very weighted in the favor of shonen and seinen. Mostly for the reason that girls will read kind of anything and guys are much more, I only read shonen and seinen. They're less likely to pick up a shoujo or a josei because they assume it's all sappy romance and nothing good can come of it and that they're not going to enjoy what's going on. So I'm here to talk about some shoujo series that I think guys will like. 4 of these will be digital titles and then 10 will be physical titles. So I'm not anti-digital manga. I'm going to put that out there right now. I think digital manga serves its purpose and it's great, and I buy quite a bit of it. And I've only really started buying it this year because I've discovered how convenient it can be, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Of course, I would prefer to have all the space in the world to own all of the physical manga. And I'm not saying that no one should feel justified in wanting physical publishers of what they want. But I think having this cancel culture to cancel Kodansha, or Kodansha's being called all sorts of names right now, it isn't the right way to go about it. So I personally went to Kodansha survey, picked out 3 of my favorite titles that I believe I'll be talking about 2 of the 3 here today as recommendations for you guys about titles that I wanted published. And they have this comments section at the end. And I went ahead and gave my very thorough thoughts and suggestions to Kodansha about, possible ways of publishing these where it's more advantageous to them than it would be otherwise. I don't know a ton about publishing, so I can't speak fully. But anyways, I'm starting to dissect this. Anyways, I have shoujo recommendations that I think the guys, the fellas, may enjoy. So that's what I'm here to do today. If you have comments about the situation going on, please keep all the comments kind and courteous and respectful. I don't want people lashing out at other people in these comments, and I don't want people lashing out at publishers in these comments. So please, guys, please be very respectful. I know this is a very hot button topic for a lot of people on both sides of this situation. I'm in the middle. I see both sides. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm frustrated, yes, but not mad. So I want to make that very clear before we start into this video. So now that all the disclaimers and a brief summary of the situation has happened, let's dig into the recommendations. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually related to shoujo manga, and that is Stupid Love Comedy. This is one I read last week for Panelathon, and in this, we follow an editor who typically worked with seinen manga, who all of a sudden gets transferred to the shoujo manga department and has to work with his shoujo mangaka. And he has his own ideas and dreams of what he wants in a mangaka, and he thinks that she can give that to him, even though he is not a reader of shoujo. But he reads her work, he's moved by her work, and his opinion begins to change. So I think, considering absolutely everything that's going on, everybody needs to read Stupid Love Comedy or reread Stupid Love Comedy if it's been a while, because I think it'll help everybody calm down, humble out, and get a better understanding of the full situation. Next we have one that is very fight-based, has a little bit of a tournament arc to it, so I think this will speak to the guys. And this is Kenkabancho Otome Loves Battle Royale. Now, don't let the title scare you. This is about a girl who's always been a tomboy, likes to fight, who randomly runs into her long-lost twin brother. I know this is far-fetched, just stay with me. And they switch places. So he goes to the all-girls school, she goes to the all-boys school. What she doesn't know is her brother's dad is a mob boss, and he's supposed to fight his way to the top of this school. So that's what she now has to do, and she makes some male friends along the way. The romance is really quite tame in this. It's mostly like about the fighting. It's a 2-volume series. It's nice and short. It was really fun. I really enjoyed this. The shenanigans were quite fun because once these guys find out that it's a girl, not a boy, they're very protective of her, just like a real guy would be, I think, in that situation. So I think it's very well done. I think it's a good time. The fight sequences are quite good, actually. Let me see if I can find a quick panel of the fighting. There's a quick one. There we go, right here. That's just one little example right at the very beginning. So no spoilers there, but yes, this is really fun. I think you guys will like it. Next is one that a lot of guys have told me that they like, and that is My Love Story. So in this, we're following this big guy here. Feels kind of clumsy. The girls he likes have always liked the friend, and he's always been really kind of sad about it. They're on a train, and this girl is basically getting assaulted from behind on the train by this guy because, you know, she's got her little mini skirt and stuff like Japanese girls do in manga, and he comes up and rescues her, and she falls for him. He falls for her, but he doesn't believe she fell for him. He believes she fell for him. So it's really cute and really sweet, like almost sickeningly so. So fair warning, if you don't like really sweet stuff, this isn't going to be your jam. But this is one of the better shoujos. It's from a guy's perspective, so it doesn't get overly emotional crazy because you're spending most of the time with guys, not with girls. And it's really fun. I really love these characters. It's a really cute series. There is an anime for this. If you're interested in like maybe trying out the first episode to see how you'd feel about it, then I would recommend it. The next one will hit the guys who like sports manga, and that is Waiting for Spring. This is about a basketball team who aren't allowed to date, and they befriend this one girl. It ends up causing some problems. But anyways, like there's love stuff in here. I'm not going to shy away from it. But the sports panels are absolutely fantastic. Let me see if I can find one here real quick. They're a bit harder to find in this first volume. In later volumes, it's a lot easier. It's a lot of practice and getting to know you, so I'm not really seeing game stuff. There's a little bit down there in the bottom, but like here we go. It's pretty detailed. I think it's really good. So for the sports guys, something like Waiting for Spring might be a good fit to try at least and go from there. Next up is for those who are open-minded or maybe a little on the LGBT spectrum. I think they might enjoy this, and that is Wish by Clamp. Now, this is the same mangaka that does Cardcaptor Sakura. The same team of mangakas, I should say, because Clamp is just a team. And in Wish, we follow Kohaku, who is a gender-fluid / non-binary angel who is on Earth and ends up stuck in a tree. And this man, make sure I say the right name, Shunichiro, rescues Kohaku. So Kohaku wants to grant Shunichiro a wish. And Shunichiro says, nope, I'm good. And so Kohaku feels stuck until he grants Shunichiro a wish. And it's really fun. It's all contained in this one omnibus. This is a really solid Dark Horse omnibus. This sucker is heavy. The pages are thick and like photo quality paper, nice and bright. I didn't break the spine at all when I read this, and I had it laying open. Like, it's really well done. Highly recommend. This is a great story. It's about more than just them getting to know each other. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. You meet several gender fluid characters. So I highly recommend checking out Wish. If it sounds at all interesting to you, but I think it's just a beautiful story about people and the connections that they can have through space and time. It's lovely. Highly recommend to everyone. Everyone should read Wish. Everyone should read more clamp time. All right, so next we've got Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. This is one that I end up talking about a lot on my channel. This is one of my all-time favorites. So this is about a human girl who was raised to be the sacrifice to the King of Beasts her entire life. So she, didn't really have friends. Her family didn't really care about her because she was just raised to be a sacrifice. Due to spoilery circumstances, she ends up not being the sacrifice to the King of Beasts, but ends up becoming the Beast's bride. And so this is a very politically charged manga, surprisingly. It's very political, and I really enjoy the political side of this manga. And I think that will speak to a lot of guys who maybe read epic fantasy or they like those more fantastical kinds of stories, because there is a huge prevalent political dynamic, because there are people within the king's court who do not want her to be his bride or is his intended or anything of that sort. So she's put through all these tests to prove that she can be by the side of the King of Beasts. And it's beautiful, the art is stunning, and this is a great story about people defending the people that they want in their lives. And I think it's wonderful, heartwarming, not overly sappy, well, I'll say that, but it's wonderful. I highly recommend. Definitely check this one out. Next is one of my current running favorites, and that is Yona of the Dawn. This is about a princess who walks in on her cousin, who she's in love with, murdering her father. From there, she and the captain of the guard are on the run, and it's about their adventures trying to get Yona back on the throne and save her kingdom. This is, again, a very politically charged manga, as well as a hero's journey style story. There's a lot of, guys, you could say it's a reverse harem in a lot of ways, but it's not overdone. It's pretty clear who the winner would be in this situation, at least to me. That might change down the road. It's currently 17 volumes in. Volume 18 will publish next week. And I love it. I'm only reading it physically. I know that a lot of people are current on the Japanese release, which is about 35 volumes in, honestly. But I'm seriously enjoying the story that is Yona of the Dawn. I had my husband watch the anime with me, and he enjoyed it. Not quite as much as I did, but he did enjoy it. And I think the manga is better than the anime personally, so I highly suggest picking this up and giving it a try, because the characters grow so much. Yona might be annoying a little bit in the beginning, but give her a couple of volumes and she'll grow on you, because she grows as a person. So I highly recommend Yona of the Dawn. Next we have another one of my current running favorites, and that is Dengeki Daisy. Dengeki Daisy is an age gap romance between a 24-year-old man and a 16-year-old girl. In this, the 16-year-old girl, her brother passes away. As he's passing away, he hands her a phone and says, if you ever feel sad, contact Daisy. And so she begins to message Daisy almost every day, just kind of with her day-to-day, to have somebody to talk to, because she feels like she doesn't have anybody to talk to now that her brother's gone. What happens is she throws a baseball through a window at school and ends up having to become the servant of the janitor to kind of work off her debt for the window. Kurosaki is his name. He has a secret. You can probably put it together. It's pretty obvious, honestly. And I believe you find out in this first volume his secret. So anyhow, this is all about them getting to know one another and solving kind of the espionage stuff behind the scenes that her brother happened to be involved in. It's really fun. It's so much more than an age gap romance. It's really a story about people. And those are some of my favorite shoujos, honestly. So I strongly recommend picking up Dengeki Daisy. This one definitely, it has some romance moments, but I don't feel like romance is the main plot point of this. This is about people getting to know one another and about solving the mystery behind certain things. And I highly recommend checking this one out for sure. I know this one is currently publishing. It's 16 volumes long. I believe it's finished. Not 100% sure. Don't quote me, but I think it is. Next, we have Behind the Scenes by Bisco Hattori. This is the same mangaka that does Ouran High School Host Club. This is very less romance focused. This is about a boy who's just entering college, and he is wanting to channel his hobby of creating things and his artistic side into a school club, and he ends up joining basically a tech crew where they work for the theater, they work for the movie crews, and they do all the set builds and the costumes and all of the behind the scenes stuff, hence behind the scenes. And it's about how he finds his people, and it's really just fun. I've read the first 2 volumes of this. 6 are published. I believe it finishes at 7 or 8. It's almost done. And I really like this. It has a lot of the humor that Ouran does, but it's not overdone, I guess you could say. You've got quirky characters. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend trying out behind the scenes if that sounds kind of up your alley. I was a theater geek in high school, so this definitely spoke to that theater side of me, but it's about channeling your creativity or your hobbies into something productive, kind of like we do with our channels. So I think a lot of people could benefit from reading behind the scenes. And last, for the physical recommendations, I have Requiem of the Rose King. This is a paranormal, dark, twisty fantasy about demons and political intrigue. Like this, I was surprised when I found out this was a shoujo. Like, this is so good. So stinking good. I'm so glad I finally picked this up. My friends have been recommending it for a long time. It's about 10 volumes in at this point. I don't know how many more there are going to be, but it has a medieval England setting. This definitely has all of the traditional fantasy kind of feels, and then throw in some paranormal elements with demons. I believe vampires come into play later, but there was no vampiring in this first volume. So you can always try out this first volume and see how you feel. But this is a very politically charged series, and I highly recommend it, again, if you like politically charged things. So from here on out, we've got digital mangas that I'm going to talk about. The first one I'm going to talk about is one that has gone out of print over the years because it is an older 90s style shoujo, and that is Red River. Red River is about a Japanese girl who ends up transported through time back into the age of Nefertiti and Tut and the Hittite Empire. She's transported to the Hittite Empire to be a sacrifice for this evil queen. And she ends up rescued by the prince of this kingdom and thought to be this war fertility goddess, not this girl from Japan. The prince knows who she is, and he is warring with the idea of having to send her back to Japan because he's now become attached to her and only wants her. So it's really interesting. I do highly recommend this series. I've read the first 6 volumes of this one so far. You can find them for about $6.50 a piece digitally, which isn't too bad, and I do suggest picking it up. It's really, really good. The next one I have is one of the most popular digital mangas being put out by Kodansha right now, and that is Perfect World. You guys have heard me talk about Perfect World before on this channel. It is about 2 high school classmates who end up reuniting on a job after 7 years, and what's happened is the guy who was a basketball player who was going somewhere ends up getting paralyzed and is now in a wheelchair. So it's about them getting reacquainted. She had feelings for him in high school but never told him, and so it's about their journey together on it. Is such a roller coaster. This is a very emotional story. They don't pull their punches at all in this series. It's definitely like you see bed sores, you see all the physical ailments that our character has to go through, and I strongly suggest reading this series. This series is beautiful. It is so lovely in its drawing. It has a beautiful message, and everybody and their dog should be reading Perfect World if they're not. It's got 8 volumes out right now. I don't know when volume 9's coming. I didn't look it up before this video, but believe me, the day those drop, I will be picking them up and reading them. All right, so the last 2 are for the slightly pervy at heart, and so I'm just gonna put that out there right now. This is my smutty soul coming through with these recommendations. So let's just dig into it. So the first one is going to be Peach Heaven. You guys have heard me talk about this on my channel as well. Peach Heaven is about a girl who ends up essentially forced to write erotica to support her family financially. Her mother is hospitalized. Her father is dead. It's her and her younger brother. What happens is there's this supermodel guy at her school. She's in the nurse's office because she was up all night writing and she ended up falling asleep and passing out in class. And so she's there in the nurse's office. And she ends up overhearing the supermodel guy and the nurse hooking up. And so she uses some of this material that she overheard in a story, and it gets back to him. So he knows exactly who it is because he kind of caught her there. And so from there, he basically threatens her to be his slave, but all she really does is make him lunch, and he keeps her secret. So it's fun. It's 13 volumes long. I've read the series in its entirety. It is funny. It is witty. And the smut that's actually written in there is quite fun. My smutty soul really enjoyed it, so definitely recommend. And then the last one on this list is My Pink is Overflowing. And this is a manga about a girl who has a specific kink about a guy in a white collared button-up shirt. She just really finds that very attractive to the point, like, she's so turned on, it gets the manga nosebleeds. So it's really quite funny. I laughed out loud multiple times in this volume of manga. I do have a full first impressions of this as well that I will leave linked down below. Anything I have reviews for or things that I've talked about in excess in a particular video, I will try to link down below. If not, I will link my manga playlist because there's tons of recommendations within those as well, and you might find something that speaks to you a little more through those recommendations. So that's what I have for you today. I know this video is a bit long and the intro was a bit long, but I hope with all of my heart that you guys out there, you males, or if you've never tried shoujo manga, I hope you'll try at least one of these series, even if it's just stupid love comedy, so that you understand the world of shoujo manga and the way shoujo manga can be treated in regards to what they write and what they choose to draw. And again, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Please let me know in the comments down below any other shoujo that you think guys might like. Whether you're a guy or a girl, please leave all the recommendations down below. Now, I'm going to say that I did exclude some of the classics that are talked about a lot, like Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, Fruits Basket, or on High School Host Club, because you guys have heard about those before. My goal in this video was to maybe bring up something that you might not be aware of. So if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you'd stick around and subscribe. If you're not new, please talk to me down in the comments. And please remember to keep everything respectful and kind in the comments. I know this is a hot button topic, but I hope you all will just be respectful of each other. And I appreciate you all. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you later.